Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another episode of Trime Time. If you don't know what that is, it's basically where I sit here and tell you about a true crime story while I do my makeup, but it is based out of Latin America, so hopefully you never heard it before. And if you have, hopefully you never heard it like this before. Let's go. Alright y'all, so this is my second time filming this video for a multitude of reasons because y'all, I tried to recreate a makeup look that I thought would be pretty simple, but yeah. So this is what I was trying to give, and this is what I gave. They don't even no. Just no. So that's one of the reasons. Two, with this case, I kind of felt like I just needed more. I felt like there was more. I don't feel like I gave enough. So I went and did a little bit of more research, and I'm so glad I did, y'all, because I found quite a bit more information than I had before. It wasn't a whole lot, but it was definitely more than I had before. And I also didn't really like the way I presented the story, like the layout of the story. I kind of wanted to switch it up. So I went home, wrote some shit down, made it suspenseful, and now I'm back and it's dope. So yeah, let's just get on into it. I did my eyebrows off camera today because I kind of found that might be the easiest thing for me to do. Because every other time I'm in here struggling trying to talk to y'all while I do my eyebrows. And I don't know if it looked like I'm struggling, but I be struggling. So I decided to reduce my struggle and just do them off camera. And they look happy, so I'm happy. But I'm not going to keep talking about stuff that y'all don't care nothing about. So I'm going to just go ahead and get right into the case. So in 1937, girls had started going missing. In Bolivia, the first girl that had gone missing's name was Margarita Rios. She was found in the city of Cochabamba in an abandoned building. She had been strangled and sexually assaulted. The police, of course, did their investigation, but they didn't come up with anything. There were no witnesses. There was nobody who had seen this person, and they just had nothing to go on. So while they were investigating this case, another girl turned up missing, and she was also found in an abandoned building. Her name was Luisita Toranza. And like I said, she was also found in an abandoned building. And again, officers or the police, they tried to find who was doing this stuff, who had done it, but unfortunately they were just unable. There again were no witnesses. This was an abandoned building. Nobody saw anything, and they had no leads. And like I said, this was 1937, so forensics wasn't, it wasn't like as good as it is today, but I don't even think it was a thing, to be honest with you. I think the main thing that police went off was witness statements and like fingerprints or something. So yeah, they had none of that. So again, unfortunately, I can't say unfortunately properly, but again, unfortunately, they were unable to find who did this. And Luisita wasn't found in Cochabamba like Margarita was. She was found in Oruro. And I'm going to just guess here because, again, 1937, they didn't have the, the communication that they have today where all you can just put it in the database and then a similar murder would show up. So it was a different city. They probably didn't even connect the two. Y'all pray for me while I try to recreate this makeup look again. So now over in the capital of Bolivia, La Paz, another young lady turned up missing. Rosalina Villavencio. She turned up missing in the city of La Paz, like I said, which is the capital of Bolivia. She was answering an ad, I'm just assuming from a newspaper because that's the way they got ads out back then. So she answered an ad for a film company executive. It was basically a casting call for a role in an upcoming film. She went to the apartment that was listed in the newspaper ad, and unfortunately, she too was found strangled to death. The next young lady was Teresa Ardales, and she was found in the town of Villamontes near the Picamayo River. And she too was strangled. So as you guys can see, this killer is just traveling in Bolivia to different cities, towns, and whatever, murdering these young ladies. Now, in November of 1937, a young lady by the name of Maria Perez, she was attending a college in Sucre, and there was a visiting professor there, and she asked this professor, could he potentially help her with understanding, I don't know what she needed help understanding, but it was obviously something. And this visiting professor agreed to help her, with her studies. But this visiting professor had something completely different in mind. He ended up strangling her, and she was found inside one of the classrooms shortly thereafter. Now, by this time, the word was going around Bolivia that there was a crazy ass man, i.e., a serial killer, on the loose, and that women were not to be alone at night. Like, if you could, the buddy system, and that people, particularly women, should take caution and try to be as safe as possible. And that is exactly what a young lady by the name of Mariana Aramayo was trying to do. She wanted to go to church, and she figured, well, who would be the best person to walk to church with? She needed a friend. She needed a buddy. So I'm not really sure how they came in contact, but she came across a priest. And who's safer to walk to church with than a priest, right? She walked to church with this priest, but unfortunately, I don't know why my eyes closed like that, but anyways, unfortunately, this priest turned out to be the killer. Mariana's body was found behind the altar shortly thereafter. This man killed her in a church, y'all. A church. So now a year later, oh boy. Well, this gonna have to work because, I'm not fixing it at this point. Am I gonna fix it? Nope. So a whole year later, on December 8th, 1938, another young lady, the next victim, would go missing. Her name was Julia Cáceres, and she was also found in the city of La Paz in another abandoned house. Julia somehow encountered a young man who claimed himself to be a traveling salesman. What he was selling, I don't know. He was able to get her alone, where he strangled her, and like I said, he left her body in an abandoned building also. That seems to be his thing. He strangles women and then he leaves them, well, most of them, not all, in abandoned buildings. So Julia was the final successful murder victim of this serial killer, but it would not be his final, attempt. The killer would go on to strike 5 months later on May 9th of 1939. But what he didn't expect was for homegirl to be like, don't go over your eye, girl. He didn't expect this next victim to be a fighter. Because so far, he had gotten away with every other murder. He had been doing this since 1937. It is now May of 1939, and he hasn't been caught yet. So why do I keep going over my eye? So he's getting a little cocky at this point. Now, throughout all of these murders, the police are really trying to find what's happening to these young ladies. These are all 18-year-old young ladies who have a similar, resemblance to one another. And they pretty much know at this point that they're connected somehow. But what they can't figure out is who did it, who done it, what's up. That is until May 9th of 1939, when the next would-be victim of this killer manages to escape. Now, I don't have a name for this young lady, but what I can tell y'all is that sis wasn't going. Sis said she wasn't dying today. No ma'am, no Pam, no ham, no turkey, okay? This young lady was able to escape with her life and lead the police to a man named Alberto Gonzalez. Ooh. Police go ahead and arrest Alberto Gonzalez, and during questioning, they find out that this is not this man's real name. Alberto Gonzalez was just an alias for a man named Ramiro Artieda. Now, there's not very much known about Ramiro Artieda's childhood and his upbringing and stuff like that, but I'll give you guys the little bit that I do know. So, this man, Ramiro Artieda, was born on September 4th, 1889, which is a whole 100 years and 10 days before me. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was funny. Not funny, but like 1889, like literally a whole 100 years before me, before your girl was even thought of. Hell, before my grandma was even thought of. My great grandma. My family was probably brand newly freed, trying to get they 40 acres and a mule. He was born before anybody in my family that I actually know. However, I do still appreciate those ancestors who suffered through slavery. Because if it wasn't for them, if they were some strong black people, I tell you that, because they done made it through slavery and all of that. They were probably stolen from Africa, but that's another story. And tomorrow, Juneteenth, y'all. Thank you, family. So happy Juneteenth to everybody who is celebrating. I know I gotta work or whatever, but in my heart, I'm still having a whole ass celebration for my peoples who were finally notified of their freedom after the Civil War. But anyways, back to the story, Ramiro Artieda. So, like I said, Ramiro was born on September 4th, 1889, to his parents, whom I do not have the name of. And he had one sibling whose name was Luis Artieda. Now, I'm just going to go here and take an educated guess and say that Ramiro's parents had a little bit of money, because when they died at some point in the early 1920s, I believe, Ramiro's older brother was left with their whole inheritance, like their estate, their money, all of that. I'm not 100% sure if they just didn't trust Ramiro, or if he wasn't responsible, if he wasn't old enough. Whatever the case was, everything was left to his older brother. Now, Ramiro at this time had a girlfriend who was also unnamed, and she basically told dude, like, I ain't no gold digger, but I'm not messing with no broke, you know, y'all feel me? Remember, this is at a time when most women were like housewives. They made the home, they had they had the children, and then they like just stay at home. They were housewives. They took care of everything related to the house. And the men were the primary, breadwinners. So homegirl was just like, listen, if we gonna get married, because he proposed to her. Sorry, forgot to mention. He proposed to her, and she's like, if we gonna get married, buddy, I'm gonna need you to be able to provide. And right now, it's looking like you ain't got no money, so you're gonna either have to find some money or I'm out. Now, shortly after this conversation that she had with Ramiro's brother unexpectedly is murdered. And Ramiro is now the sole inheritant of his parents' estate, or his brother's estate. So obviously the police have to do an investigation because his brother was murdered. And right away, y'all, like right away, they suspect that it's Ramiro. They was pretty much like, sir, how convenient. We know it was you. But they didn't have any evidence because, again, this, like I said, early 1900s, didn't have forensics. I don't even know if fingerprinting was available at the time. Blood type, who knows? I wasn't there. So they didn't have any evidence or any real evidence to go on, and they couldn't convict him. So all they basically did was question Ramiro to see if he knew anything. He claimed he didn't, and they had to let him go because they didn't have any proof that it was him. Only a suspicion. You can't keep people on suspicion. That's like unethical. So he was let go. He had all this new money, and he was able to, provide a life for his now fiance. The only problem is that now this girlfriend, she has the same suspicion as the police. And she was like, "Sir, I wanted money, not a murderer." And so because of her suspicion, she ended up leaving Ramiro. She just chucked up the deuces and was like, "I'm out of here." Now Ramiro is pissed. He's like, "Girl, I got money. Who cares how I got it? You think I killed my brother? The police don't have no evidence. So what the hell?" But I mean, I guess I can understand her point, because if you think somebody killed their brother, what you think they're going to do to you when they get mad? Like, just the suspicion alone. Like I said, she was out. She dipped. Never to darken the doorway again, child. So with his new inheritance money, he came over here to the United States in the 1920s. And I was kind of just like, when I read that, I was like, "Sir, we about to go into a Great Depression. Like, you could stay yourself at home. Like, stay a little ass in Bolivia and keep your problems at home. You feel me? Like, don't come over here." Granted, nobody knew we was about to go into a Great Depression, but we were. So, like, stay where you at. We don't need your problems. Okay? But nonetheless, Ramiro was out here in America living his best little life. Now, some sources say he studied acting, and other sources say that he actually became an actor. Now, I tried really, really hard, and I'm trying really, really hard to put this eyeliner on, and it's not working. Hold on, y'all. Okay, like I was saying, some sources say he studied acting, and others say that he actually became an actor. I tried to find like anything that he might have acted or starred in while he was over here in the United States, but I couldn't find anything. So I'm just going to go off on a limb here and say that he only studied acting while he was here. But nonetheless, he made acting his career. So at some point, Ramiro was like, "You know what? I'm going to just go ahead and head back to Bolivia because y'all country's broke. I need money and y'all ain't got none. So I'm going to just go home." And that's what he did. In the late 1930s, Ramiro decided that it was time to go back to Bolivia, put his acting skills to use for all the wrong reasons, might I add, and, just go back home. When Ramiro returned to Bolivia, not only did he return with the acting skills that he had picked up in the U.S., but he also returned with a whole lot of rage still inside from that girlfriend who had ditched him after she suspected he murdered his brother. Now, this is a rage that he would soon take out on all of the victims that I just previously told you about. Now, what I didn't tell y'all was that all of the victims that I just named were all 18 years old and had a striking resemblance to his ex-girlfriend, or ex-fiance rather. They didn't really give a description of what she looked like, and I kind of wanted to know like the characteristics, like what these women looked like, but like I said, they didn't really give a description of neither the women nor his ex-girlfriend. Once Artieda was caught, he confessed. He didn't hesitate. He was kind of just like, "Yep, I did it." He confessed not only to the attempted murder of the last young lady, but he also confessed to every other murder that I just told you about. Not only did he confess, to those murders, he also confessed to the murder of his own brother. So he killed his brother so that he could provide for his fiance, who ended up leaving him. And he was pissed, so he came back to Bolivia and took it out on every other girl who looked like her. He told police that it was his intention to kill every woman who was the age of and resembled his ex-girlfriend as possible. He just wanted revenge. He was pissed. He was hurt. Ow. And he just wasn't here for it. The police really didn't believe him, though. They kind of said that they believed that he was just a psychopathic murderer who was in it for the thrills. And I kind of, I really don't know what to believe, because people really do be taking their anger out on other people, aside from the one that, like, they're really angry at, if that makes sense. Like, there's so many times where serial killers will, like, be mad at their mama and then see every other woman as their mom and, like, just kill all the women who look like their mom. You know what I mean? So probably in his mind, he was just killing her over and over and over again. I'm not saying that that's right. I'm not justifying it. Please don't take that for justification, because it's not. But what I'm saying is, it's a thing. So Ramiro pled guilty to everything, and he was sentenced to death by firing squad. So on July 3rd of 1939, he was executed by firing squad. Now, in my mind, he went out like Cleo, but a lot less badass, because Cleo was just, she went out like Thug Thizzle, just straight thugging it out here in these streets. Ramiro just had to stand there while people shot him. So, I mean, I can only imagine. But, like, like what I'm trying to say, the way she was moving, that's what I think of when I hear that he was executed by firing squad. But y'all get the idea. He died by firing squad. And yeah, that is the end of this story. That is the end of this look. Y'all, please let me know what y'all think in the comments. If y'all have any makeup tips, please leave them in the comments below. Let me know if y'all think I did good on this look, if I did bad. Just let me know. For whatever reason, I don't know why this eyeshadow came out looking more purple to me. It like has more of a purple hue to it than I anticipated. But overall, it's way better than what I did last time. So I'm kind of pleased with this look. Granted, it's not the brown neutral type look that I was going for, but that's neither here nor there. I think I did a pretty good job. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, and I will see y'all in the next one.